Good day, and hello. My name is Rich Zeck. I am the current mayor of the village of Simpson, and I am running for commissioner for District 6. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about who I am, why I'm running, and what I expect to accomplish. So first of all, why am I running for commissioner? Many people ask me that question, and I can tell you right off the bat, the reason that I'm running is that I believe there are some things within our county structure that need to be improved, that need some bold leadership, that need a little bit of a shakeup. And what I have to offer is I'm the only candidate who's been elected 4 different times by residents within our own community. People who may not necessarily look like me, may not belong to the same political affiliation as I do, and that's not the issue. What we need is bipartisanship. We need people who will address the issues and not the party line. So one of the things, as I've expressed, is that I have proven leadership. I have proven experience. I've worked with multi-million-dollar budgets. I am currently the executive director of the Council on Aging, a very large private nonprofit that dedicates our time and energies to our aging population all across Pitt County. I have worked with Pitt County over the last 10 years. So there's many reasons why I have the experience, the knowledge, and the skill to be the next county commissioner for District 6. So let me just tell you a little bit more about what I see a vision for Pitt County. A lot of people will claim to be leaders and have leadership qualities, and many people do. But what is lacking sometimes in leadership is courage. Courage to take a stand. One of my favorite lines is, "It doesn't matter who's right, what matters is what's right." And too many times we're busy pointing fingers at one another on your belief is wrong, my belief is right. And it's not. What is important is what is the good for the whole. And that's where leadership comes in, is to make some tough decisions. And sometimes it's easy to pick low-lying fruit. A recent example would be the controversy on something so simple as the words "In God We Trust" in our courtroom. To even have an argument about that is a waste of time. That we're looking at things that really don't matter when we come to looking at priorities within our community, our rural community in particular, our economic community. So what I'd like to do is take a look at, there are some things that we're not going to agree on, and it's okay not to agree with one another. But what's not okay is tearing each other down over our own beliefs. What we need is an opportunity to discuss, encourage ideas, brainstorm, and come up with some compromises, or sometimes it may not even be worth the fight but to give in. Too many times in politics, and we've seen it with this own position, it's about who has favor with other people that encourages people because they owe a favor to, hey, I'll support you if you support me. I have no baggage. I owe nobody anything. I'm running for the people. I don't have a former commissioner standing up saying this or saying that. What we have here is an individual who wants to make a difference. I've made a difference in Simpson. We've made a difference. Too many times it does become more about me instead of us. And when we take a look at Simpson, we've done many new things. We've had our first new homes built within our town in 25 years, our first new home within the city limits. That is quite the accomplishment when you look at a lot of smaller towns within our community that just are not growing. We have a lot of issues that we've really worked on. We've made some tough decisions, and we'll continue to make those kind of tough decisions, and that's what we need to do in Pitt County. One of the things, I have an 8-point plan that I would like to address coming in as County Commissioner. And through my plan, with some bold leadership, partnering with other commissioners, of really making some decisions for the good of the whole. We're in a very transitional period of growth within our community. And sometimes you and I have both seen it. We've seen what the roads are like within our community, and we have housing developments popping up all over, and the traffic is terrible. We need some slow, calculated growth for the future. So let me just briefly go over the 8 points that I feel qualify me as the best candidate for Pitt County in District 6. As I've said, number one is the proven leadership that I bring to the table for the last 10 years right here in Pitt County. I'll continue the work in District 8 that has been set up by previous commissioners in the past. I have been serving and delivering results for the people of the district for the last 9 years. And as I've said before, they're people that don't look like me, that don't come from my background, but they're people within our district. And that's what matters, is that we work together regardless of our backgrounds, our opinions, our religion, our work ethics. We just need to come together, and that's what I want to do, is bring people together. And when we come together, the power that we can have together really will strengthen our community. Point number two is I'd like to close the rural divide. Sometimes there's so much focus and growth on Greenville, and rightfully so, but the rural area plays a very important part upon the growth of Pitt County and the surrounding communities as well. We need to protect our rural communities, which means really that we ensure that they have the same access to the opportunities as the rest of Pitt County. And sometimes they get a little bit left out because they're not in the hustle and bustle of the city. And we want to make sure that Pitt County as a whole is more than just Greenville. I want to continue. My point number three is to continue to advocate for rural health care access across all of Pitt County, particularly in our rural areas. You know that we have had very limited opportunities, whether it be a food desert, a medical desert. We need to expand EMS coverage and partnerships with other local healthcare systems to really impact the areas that may not have access, whether it be through transportation or access to healthcare, particularly in our rural areas. Number four, I really want to take a look at the economic development that works for all of us. It should be economic development for our families, not just for the Raleigh insiders and the good old boy system of people who owe everyone, and I'll do you a favor and you do me a favor. I don't need favors. What I need are ideas and words of action and people to come along and be courageous. We need courageous people to step up and make this a better community. There's so many projects that are based on politics and not on needs. And again, back to, we need to do the right thing for the right reasons and not because it's politically correct. Political correctness, it's time to go. What we need is human correctness and do the right thing for all people. We're not going to make everybody happy, and that's sometimes, as a politician, we're more interested in making everybody happy, and that's not reality. We're not going to make everybody happy, but we're going to explain it. We're going to give the best reason and rationale for what changes are done, and we're going to be courageous and move forward on them. Point number six is I want to continue to strengthen our career and technology education with apprenticeships and partnerships with local businesses, with the community college, with trade programs. We're seeing it right now, a revolution within our country, particularly when it comes to AI. maybe the loss of some jobs. We've got to get back to skilled trades. You cannot replace a robot with human hands. Electricians, plumbers, HVAC, particularly with all the growth we have, we need to train up our next young people to be ready for the coming generation of workforce needs. I want to continue to do that, particularly in our rural areas. There's so many opportunities to help young people, whether it be farming, whether it be any of these skilled trades. We've got to give them tools to be able to be prepared for the future. Number 7 is continuing to support our first responders, our firefighters, EMS, deputies, police, the sheriff's department. I am a huge supporter of our service people within our community. Police, fire, EMS, and particularly when you look at our rural areas with our volunteer fire department, all of these individuals put their lives on the line for you and I. We're quick to point fingers and blame when things aren't perfect. And we live in an imperfect world. Things are going to happen. But every day, those individuals leave their homes, maybe their families, maybe they're the children, and they may not come home because they're out there to protect and serve you. We need to do a better job of supporting them, embracing them, and doing all that we can to make sure that there are no shortages and that pipeline of people to come into those service needs continues to flow. The last area of a goal of mine is to really address the public school capacity and taxpayer efficiency. So many times, the problems that we face, whether it be in our communities, in our cities, in our county, they're massive. They're very complex. They're not easily solvable. So what we do sometimes is we do temporary fixes. And when you take a look at temporary fixes, the one thing is it's like a cut on your hand. You can temporarily stop the bleeding, but if you don't clean it out and it's not addressed properly, it will become infected. And it'll take twice the amount of energy to heal. And sometimes with these temporary fixes, it actually costs us more in the long run. We really need to take a look at opportunities to lessen the tax burden and do some smart planning today so that we can prevent expensive emergency projects for tomorrow. We've known for quite a while that the population was growing. To have this overcrowding that we currently have is unexcusable. It's been happening, it's coming. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that as our community grows, so will the needs for our schools, so will the needs for our infrastructure. We've got to start today. We've got to plan for tomorrow. And not that there hasn't been planning, it just hasn't been enough. So we really need to take a look at how we're allocating our funds when we're taking a look at public safety, human services, education. Those 3 areas are the 3 largest areas of the Pitt County budget, education being the largest. And when you're looking at our property taxes and where those dollars are going, we need to be good stewards. And sometimes I think people put so much trust, whether it's in a business, in a church, where we give our hard-earned money or our tithings to an entity, and those funds aren't being spent properly. And you can see that across our nation right now, where there's waste and there's fraud and there's abuse. And not that I'm saying that that is going on, but there's always that opportunity. So we need to be good stewards and really double check, cross the T's, dot the I's to make sure that your hard-earned dollars are being spent in the most beneficial manner that we possibly can. These are your dollars. They're not my dollars. They're your dollars. They're our dollars going into our community. And we got to make sure that they're being used and spent properly. And how we do that is with individuals, with commissioners who have knowledge, who have experience, who maybe they've been entrepreneurs. They've owned businesses. They know what it's like. I've been an entrepreneur. To take a risk of your hard-earned dollars being invested. And that's what we need as a county government, is to make sure that we're excellent stewards, that we're truly bold and courageous leaders. So as we move forward, I'm here today just to share a little bit more with you about some of my goals, some of my ideas. And what I want to leave you with today is that I am a 4-time elected official. I've been there. I've done it. I have the experience. I have a background in running large businesses. I work across the aisle. I work with old people, young people, African American, white. It doesn't matter. We all have the same rights. We're all equal under the Pitt County government. We have that opportunity. I want to ask you for your commitment to join with me. Be bold, be courageous. Let's make a difference. Let's move forward. Let's take a look at all of our commissioners and say, are they working for me or working against me? So when it comes to March 3rd, early voting starts on February 12th. I would like you to consider Rich Zeck for our district, number 6. And see if we can't make a difference together. I thank you for your time. God bless you and your family and the United States of America.